Hi guys, I'm Alexandra Dufine. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and thank you for clicking on today's video. So we're going to be talking about all of the questions that you should ask your wedding photographer prior to booking them to make sure that they're going to be just the perfect match for you and your venue. If you like today's video, please give it a big thumbs up and hit subscribe. And if you also click the bell, you'll receive the notifications for my upcoming videos. For anyone that is new to my channel, hello, welcome. So I am a bride-to-be myself. I'm due to get married in June 2021, fingers crossed. But I have also previously worked as a photographer. Now, not a wedding photographer, however, I've worked with models on portfolios and fashion shows, that kind of thing. So I do have some good insider information as well as being a bride-to-be myself. So we'll dive right in with the basics. And the very first question you should ask any potential photographers is, do they have your wedding date available? Because you don't want to obviously spend a long time talking to photographers, talking about their packages and their style and all these different things if it turns out they are not available on your date. If they have your date available, the next question you want to ask is all about their prices and packages. Again, it's best to have this conversation fairly early on so you don't spend too much time talking about lots of different things to find out that they are out of your budget. Now, photographers do a lot of different packages. So if they present to you maybe a full day package and it is out of your price range, it could be worth asking about maybe half day packages or different number of hours for the day if you're really set on that particular photographer to try and keep it within budget. It's also good to know what deposit you'll need to put down to make the booking and when you'll need to make the final payment and in what form do they accept payment as well. Not all photographers can accept debit or credit card because they don't have the facilities to make those kind of payments. So a lot of photographers might ask you to do a bank transfer or use something like PayPal. Another thing to ask your potential photographer whilst discussing prices and packaging is, do you need to cover their travel cost or do you need to provide them with a meal? Now, a lot of the time, those things aren't included in the package price, and it's only later when you are given a contract that some photographers do have written in there that they want their travel cost covered and they would also like a meal as well. As that isn't all photographers, it's definitely worth asking that to find out if your potential photographer is one of those or not, because you don't want to have any unexpected costs. The next question to ask is, have they ever shot a wedding at the venue of your wedding before? This could be really helpful to know because if the photographer has shot at the venue before, then they're already going to know good places to do like the couples photo shoots, what the lighting is like, all those different things. If the answer is no, they haven't shot at your venue before, that's not a deal breaker, but it's probably then worth asking, would they be willing or do they normally go to the venue prior to the wedding to scout out locations? Now, that doesn't have to necessarily mean that you're expecting them to go like weeks before your wedding. Even if it was just an hour or two before the wedding starts on the day of the wedding to scout out the locations and to see what the lighting is like, because what you don't really want is a photographer who's never shot at the venue before and has never scouted it for locations or to test the lighting, and then they're just kind of turning up on the day, on the very second everything's all starting, and then starting to shoot. You may also want to ask any prospective photographers how many weddings they shoot in a year. This is a good way to gauge how experienced they are with shooting weddings. Now, again, it's not a deal breaker if they're perhaps new to the industry. That will probably be reflected in maybe the price of their package, but it's good to know because you need to make an informed decision, and it may be the case that you want a more experienced photographer or you're maybe open to have someone who's a little bit newer to the industry, but it's good to kind of get that information so you're making a really informed decision. You may also want to ask the photographer, do they shoot with a second photographer? Now, not all wedding photographers do this. This may be of interest to you if you have a particularly large wedding with a lot of guests, a lot of different things going on, because if you get a photographer that comes with a second shooter, that second person, you're of course going to get then more coverage of the day and all the different things going on. However, if your photographer does not shoot with that second person assisting, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna miss things. So again, that's why it's worth asking about their experience and if they're experienced with shooting weddings with as many guests as your wedding, and then you can get that kind of idea. Now, this next question, this one was particularly important to me when I was looking for my wedding photographer, and that is knowing, does the camera and equipment that they use, does it either come with either 2 memory card slots, or does what they are shooting get automatically uploaded via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth? Now, the reason that this was particularly important to me, in years gone by, obviously before things are kind of as advanced as they are now, and the camera would come with 1 memory card, if that memory card corrupts, which is quite rare, but definitely does happen, if that memory card corrupts, all of the images taken will be lost. So if the photographer is using a camera that has 2 memory card slots with 2 memory cards, that's reducing the risk. All the photos get kind of uploaded onto both memory cards, and then if one corrupted, you've still got the backup of the other memory card. Or some cameras, they only have the 1 memory card slot, but the photos are immediately uploaded to the photographer's laptop or hard drive via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth once the picture is taken. So that's definitely worth asking if you are a little bit like me and you are a little bit worried about the memory card corrupting. You may also want to ask the photographer to have a look through their full albums of weddings that they have previously shot. This is because obviously they probably have some images on their website. Of course, they're probably going to pick out their best images. So it's definitely worth asking if you can look through a full album of a full day wedding to then kind of see what kind of style they have and what kind of shots that they're likely to get for your wedding. Another important thing to ask your wedding photographer is, do they have insurance? Now, most wedding photographers do have insurance, but it's just worth checking to make sure that they definitely do, so that everything is fully covered. It's also definitely best to clarify with the photographer exactly what you'll be given after the wedding day. So will you be given all of the images? Will they come in digital form or print form? And is the retouching of the images included in the package price? It's definitely worth asking how long it'll take for your photographer to get the images to you as well, as there's a huge range. I've seen photographers that are able to give the images within 1 or 2 weeks. Some other photographers are 3 to 4 months. So that's just going to be personal preference, how long you'd be happy to wait, or if you're willing to wait longer, if it's for the photographer that you love, that's just totally personal preference. But the range, it does vary massively. So if that is something that's important to you, it's definitely worth asking how long you will need to wait. On the back of that, it may also be worth asking, can the photographer provide you with a few images, some highlight images that you can use pretty much immediately, the day or 2 after the wedding? A lot of photographers now will provide maybe around 3 to 6 images that quickly. And that brings us to the end of today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I am going to do a little mini series on these wedding planning tips and questions you should ask different vendors. So if you did like today's video and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.